Okay guys, short video about cultivating tall corn. So we have the Massey 440 cultivator. We have the high clearance shanks that were, see if it focuses in there. Oh, I got it wrong. Made in Germany. So these are the 18-inch shanks. On this cultivator setup, the row gap is 14. We have the 7-inch sweep there. The next rack forward has the 7-inch, and the front ranks have the 4-inch Danish tine. And we are out in tall corn. So on this fertile bottom ground, there are a few of those red root pigweeds that survived. Let me see if I can find try and show you the transition. So this is the field before cultivation. It's only had one pass on it, and you look down here at the profile and the soil is flat. You can see all the rains that we've had. This is after, you know, the 8.5, 9 inches, I don't know, crazy amount of rain we had. Boy, there's a rock, that's not nice. Anyway, those big rains completely sealed the surface back down. It's starting to crack open, but you can see all of the little baby red root. See some giant foxtail coming. Those weeds are small enough they would not limit yield. Coming over here, seeing what I did there. I'm bending those corns over. Some of them will straighten, but some of them will die. That's not a problem. I'm not concerned about that because we did plant this field at 32, and so we can, there's a weed that the cultivator missed. But I want to get down here and now see the aspect of the field. Now we've got 3 or 4 inch ridges depending on how fast I get to moving. So on my turns, I go completely outboard of the field. And so the only rows that I'm mashing down is just a straight shot back in. And we will get in position here. And when we're in position, we will drop the cultivator and away we will go. So I'm not going terribly fast. It is kind of a challenge driving on this tall corn. There's the side view where I've already been. So you really don't want to get off the road. You really want to concentrate on staying on the road, because at this stage of the game, if you get off the road, you make a huge hole in the field. So it looks like the speed here is about 6 miles an hour. You probably could go a hair faster, but you can hear the tractor straining. So this cultivator setup, moving this amount of dirt, we have, you know, our 90 horsepower tractor, and 90 horsepower is about all this cultivator wants when I am moving that much dirt. And so we're just coming along. There's a shot at the mirrors, and things are looking good. When I come to the end, I do not go into the end rows this time. You know, on my first pass I did go through the end rows, but not going through the end rows now. Don't need to kill any more corn than I have to. There's the beautiful river. We are right next to the river. And there is a drain that fortunately didn't wash very bad. And so that's what we got going on. Beautiful field of corn, relatively clean, and we're doing this last ridging pass. You know, in a week it will have grown another 6, 8, 10 inches, and so it will be ready to go for the year. So a couple other points to mention. I'm pretty sure this field was planted June 4th. Today's July 2nd. So we are at most likely somewhere around day 28. You can see from the amount of growth in 28 days that the corn has exploded. That's one of the big reasons that we have such good weed control here. Is the minute that seed hit the ground, it took off growing, because we did plant into warm, moist soil. This does require, you know, I enjoy cultivating, but this job, this particular pass of cultivation, is actually more stressful for me than any other pass. You know, some people stress out when the plants are little. Well, plants are little, they're pretty forgiving. You can learn every trick there. This job here and what I'm doing now, there's no margin for error. If I would get a plug or a shank would break, you can make a real big hole real fast if you're not paying attention. If you would get out of alignment or miss your row pattern or something like that, you know, the opportunity for error is a lot greater on this final pass. And so it requires a fair amount of attention, and it is the most stressful pass for me personally. It's also the most rewarding pass because you can look over the field where you've already gone, and you know, you're pretty much set. On this bottom ground with the 8.5, 9 inches, I don't know, we lost count at about 7.5. But after that amount of rain, with this fertility, and with this weed control, this crop is pretty much set for the year. There's not a whole lot else to go wrong. The only thing that could go wrong is if we got some of that heat like the Pacific Northwest got. I reckon if it hit 115 degrees, it can stress this crop out. But I don't control the weather. Everything that I can control, I have control on this field. And so it is a very good feeling to cultivate corn this clean. To be able to get over it this big and to reset the weed clock at this growth stage, and have fertility in a stand like this, in soil like this. People ask me about yield potential, so I will talk just a little bit about that. This is some of my best bottom ground. The fertility is set. It's good fertility to begin with, but you couple that with this year, we have corn. Last year we had the oats. After we had the oats, we planted the cover crop. I think I showed you that. But we actually cover cropped this field with the turnips, harvested the oats, took the straw, then planted the cover crop of sedan, turnips, rye, and cowpeas. And so we started out with a high baseline fertility, and then we had the somewhat diverse cover crop. The cover crop on this field was grazed off by cattle, and so the cows manured on the field. And to make a long story short, fertility is not a problem. And so a reasonable yield expectation on this field would be 150 bushels to the acre. and I'm cautiously optimistic. The yield could go, well, the sky's the limit. I would be happy with 150. I would kind of like to hit 160 or 170 or 180, but we'll just have to see how the year plays out. And there was a little bit of tiger crap there. You heard the tractor die down. Anyway, things are good, and I really need to pay attention to my job here, guys, and so we'll finish this video out. Have a happy 4th, and hope everybody's doing good. Thanks for watching.